Alright, so here's my shifter, all disassembled. I'm gonna put in a CorkSport short shifter. So you know, if you watch my videos, you know that I had a Craven speed shifter in there, and I wanted the CorkSport because the CorkSport has these shims, these 4 shims here that you can put in and change the feel of the shifter. You know, if it to make it feel softer or harder. You know, require less effort or more effort depending on the number of shims. I believe if I read the instructions properly, the less shims there are, the softer it is, and the more shims there are, the firmer it is. So and I think they recommend you using I think it was, they say start out with three shims or something like that. But anyways, so let's look at it. And I think I showed you guys when I did the unboxing. I showed you guys the picture of where the had a video of the unboxing of the CorkSport. So I'm not gonna go over all those parts again, but I am gonna mention when you take out your shifter apart, you know, there's these 2 dowel pin holes right here. Right there, and you know, same spot right here, the corresponding spot, the dowel pins. So the stock, you know, these dowel pins are I think 10 millimeters or so. So the corresponding you know, corresponding to each other. So that way, when this is in here and it's down there, it doesn't wiggle around. It doesn't move at all with those dowel pins. Without those dowel pins, if you just use the screws, potentially or theoretically it should stay still. Once you torque it down, it shouldn't move, but there's always that potential there could be still a little bit of wiggling or whatever, you know, and those dowel pins will basically align it, you know, because that's what they're for. They're for alignment. They will align it so that way everything is like basically perfect, you know, the where the shifter position is, that the shifter housing in relation to where the transmission is and everything, all in there. Once it's bolted down, it's all aligned properly. So the thing with the CorkSport is that they didn't give you any of these pins, whereas the Craven Speed, they actually gave you a couple extra pins. So how this works is that those pins are only 10 millimeters, and these holes right here are around 6 millimeters, I believe, somewhere around 6 or 4, I forget, on both sides, both ends, somewhere between 6 and 4. I think they're both about 6 millimeters deep. Of the holes. The pins themselves, or the diameter of the pins, is 5 millimeters, right? So the diameter here, you know, the width of the pin basically is 5 millimeters. I went to the hardware store to get a couple extra ones, but they weren't metric, you know, they were in inches, so they were actually a little bit too small, and there was wiggle space, and when I put this down in there, it could still wiggle, so I didn't like that. So I ordered some you know, metric dowel pins. And so it took a couple days to get here, so I actually put back the stock shifter. So now we just took it apart and I'm putting this on here. This spacer here is I believe about 10 millimeters. Here, the Craven Speed one was about, I think, was it 12 or 13? You know, it wasn't that much bigger. It's only slightly bigger than the CorkSport. So anyway, so the CorkSport didn't come with pins. So basically, if you still have the stock pins, you can either have the pins from the transmission to this spacer, but no pins to the housing. So let's say this is aligned with that down there, it stay, but this thing potentially could move. Or if you put the pins between these two pieces would stay aligned with each other, but between here and here, it would still have that potential to wiggle around. So I didn't like that, so that's why I bought, you know, I had to order those metric pins, dowel pins on Amazon. So these are it right here. They were like dirt cheap. You know, you get 120 pieces for, I think this was only like 13 bucks. Whereas when I got those dowel pins at the hardware store, at the local hardware store, they were like $1.19 each. So that's like big, huge price difference. It's like, you know, that's like a huge price difference. It's insane how marked up it is at the hardware store. So the only difference is that the dowel pins that are in the you know, that's in here, they are actually magnetic. So you could actually put a magnet on them and they will stick. But the dowel pins that I got are stainless, you know, 304 stainless, so they don't really stick to magnets. So you have to be mindful. Do not drop it into your, don't drop the pins in here. Otherwise, you won't be able to fish it out because it's, a magnet can't stick to it, right? So let me just show you. This is a, because the setup I got here is, they come in 40 millimeters. I think what is it? It's 40 millimeters, 35, 30, 25, 20, 16, and 10. So I'm probably gonna need to be using four 10s, or I might just use 2 20s. I'm still debating that. And I think you could use either one. But anyways, so yeah, so these things are not magnetic, so be mindful of that, and don't drop your pins in there, and otherwise you're gonna be screwed, right? So I mentioned the depth of these, I think, are 6 millimeters here, and I think also here is 6 millimeters, so that's 12 millimeters approximately. And this way here is about 10 millimeters, so that's basically 22 millimeters. So basically I have to stick with using the 20, no more than the 20 millimeter dowel pins, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stick the 20 millimeter dowel pin in there. So basically, that size right there, instead of using 2 10s. But before you do that, you definitely have to clean up the mating surface, these mating surface here. Get a brand new razor. Don't get an old one where the cutting edge is like nicked or whatever, because it can make scratches into your mating surface and gouge your mating surface. So make sure it's a brand new edge, and remove all the old gasket material with the razor, scraping it off. And afterwards, it's a good idea to use like a little brake cleaner or something like that. Spray it on the surface so that way you could degrease it. I actually did not do that. I just gasket it off, and I just wiped it real well with a clean rag, and that's all I did. And I'm gonna be okay with that. That's not gonna bother me. And I have some RTV silicone gasket maker here. This actually was part of the Craven Speed kit. In the Craven Speed, the cool thing I liked about Craven Speed over this CorkSport is the Craven Speed has basically everything you need to go. You don't need anything except for the actual tools that you need to, like, disassemble everything and reassemble everything. Whereas the CorkSport, you need to get some, gasket maker. You need to get the dowel pins. I think that's all you need is those 2 things. But it would have been nice for, considering that they how much they cost, they should have threw in all this extra stuff that, like the Craven Speed has. So anyways, so now I'm gonna basically prep these. I'm gonna basically start putting the gasket on this face here. You don't put too much, just tiny surface coating on there. On both surfaces, this one and that one, and also on this surface as well, both sides. I would do this first. Stick the dowel pins in. Make sure you don't get the gasket material into the threads and into the dowel pin holes. So be mindful of that. Then I would stick the dowel pins on. Put the gasket material on this side. Put that down in there. Then material on this side. Put then the material on here. Then I could put everything together. So that's my recommendation of steps to do it in. And I would do that off camera because you don't need to see that. But I will show you a video. The next video I'll show you is everything it's been applied. Then I will start the next video from there. All right. Thanks for watching.